Sí, aquí estamos.
Prediction? Yes, prediction.
112.
Hey.
¡Vivo!
Are you ready? I was born ready.
Obviously, you're a little, aggravated by the line of questioning regarding Canelo.
I don't want to touch this, dirty, so bad. I don't want to touch his name.
I'm working on feeling the art of humbleness. Hey, you being with me, that's the reason why I'm crying, because I'm not that person no more. And I miss him. Because sometimes I feel like a bitch. I don't want that person to come out, because if he comes out, hell is coming with him. And it's not funny at all. It must sound cool, like I'm a tough guy. It's just I hate that. I'm scared of it.
It would be awesome to, be being a great war. Maybe with a Mexican.
Let's go! Wait, pop!
I have to put the joke.
No. Hey, thank you. Perfect play, man. I appreciate
Good
you.
timing, man.
Can't put predictions, man, but I definitely don't want to leave it to the judges.
¡Wepa! Seguimos activo. We are Long Live Boxing EnVivo podcast, bringing you to episode 112. As always, Manny siempre en vivo. Marrero.
Sean the Gringo Hicksa.
Hopper. Breaking it down like it is, like it should be, en vivo style. Como te gusta, si no te gusta, si te encanta, pues no importa. Como quiera, te lo vamos a traer a usted sin pelos en la lengua, como es debido. Talking about all topics, subject, boxing. Whether you like it, criticize or not, hey, just like to break it down like it is. And we just broke it down, 111. Check us out, ladies and gentlemen, anywhere you upload your favorite podcasts, Long Live Boxing EnVivo podcast.
Absolutely.
Welcome back, guys. Another good show.
And here we go.
There you are. What's up,
Episode 112.
Woo!
In your mouth.
Spaghetti.
Let's do it. Like the stiff jab, baby.
What do we
So
do?
we got some good stuff here. But first, we want to give some respect, right, Manny?
Yeah, one of the greatest. He, of course, our show today will revolve about Puerto Rican boxing, and we want to honor one of our greatest. He held world titles in the lightweight division, also the light welterweight division, along with Felix Trito Trinidad, Miguel Cotto, Wilfredo Gomez, Hector Camacho, Jorge Torres, Wilfredo Benitez, and many others. He is considered the top Puerto Rican by all time when it comes to boxing. He has held the record for the most wins in unified lightweight titles, and that is 10. No one's ever surpassed that. Ladies and gentlemen, we want to honor Carlos Ortiz at the age of 85. Hey. He passed away this June. Carlos Ortiz, didn't get to see you live, but I do remember watching with my uncles those replays and those battles that you had against Ismael Laguna. For that, your respect.
Yes.
May rest in peace.
En paz descanse.
Rest in peace. And thank you for all the memories. Carlos Ortiz.
Absolutely.
Seguimos.
Here we go. As you guys know, nothing like fireworks when we start talking about
Big
boxing,
time.
but our brother wanted to talk about Puerto Rican boxing, and he had a real interesting thing. He wanted to challenge his brothers. He's like, you know what? We don't want to just talk about any old boxer. We want to have you guys dig deep and tell me, and let me know if I'm saying this right or wrong, Manny.
Probably wrong.
Who do we believe? definitely wrong. Shout out to my dyslexia. Who is going to be a champion contender in the next 2 years that's of Puerto Rican descent, whether from the island or from the States? and it wasn't easy. And he wanted 5, and he wanted them in alphabetically order. No, but it was not. It's not as easy. As it sounded. I tried my best. Hopper actually struggled more than
I
myself.
struggled pretty
Really?
bad, and I actually only have one.
Oh my God, there are more
And
than 5,
Yeah.
but that's
So
good. That's okay.
It's not a disrespect thing. So for our listeners, it's more about key thing is if you're mad at Manny, he said a champion. So I was thinking it was contender. He wants them to have a
champion.
belt.
I need a belt.
There's a lot of
In 2 years.
First of all,
that's why
2 years.
I
And
only
here's the
found one.
reason why, guys. You know, right now the 62nd champion, that is Jonathan Bomba Gonzalez.
Oh,
we had him here in the show.
The bicyclist.
And by the way, he'll be fighting tomorrow,
runner.
defending
shout out.
the WBO mini flyweight champion against Mark Anthony Barria. And that will be his first defense title. Of course, yeah, no one thought that he would beat La Pulga. He destroyed him, basically, yeah. Running or not running, I mean, La
That's
Pulga
debatable.
just did not do anything. It actually disappointed me because I thought La Pulga would do a lot better.
Oh.
But there was a lot of things happen. But no, shout out to the only current male champion, Puerto Rican champion. We wish him the best tomorrow. But we're talking about guys, do you all know who can definitely become a next world champion? I'm not saying the next people's champion. Let's take that out of our minds. We got 2 years. In the next 2 years, what Puerto Rican contender have an opportunity to be world champion? And I challenged them to get me 5. I wanted to see how the you know,
He's insane.
Intelligent, how the brains function, to see if they can find someone. And they were struggling. But you
Yeah,
know what? Yeah. What?
Here's another thing, brother.
Okay.
Like, and it's not even about a lack of talent because there's definitely there.
There
We
is.
talk about the wave,
There is.
but there's a lot of challenges and barriers because I don't know if you guys know this or not, but in the beauty of having the undisputed era, there's only like a few guys that have the belts. So
Exactly.
you can't even
Yeah.
say like you can cherry pick a champion
Yeah.
because it's one guy who's damn near impossible to beat.
Right.
So that changes the dynamic quite a bit.
Exactly.
You know what? Our brother Manny doesn't care. He's like, this is the task. You must complete it.
I found the loophole actually
found
with
a loophole?
the one guy that
Right.
I think will become a champion in 2
Okay.
years for Puerto Rico.
Hear me out.
All right.
What is it?
All right. Well,
Yeah.
let's go ahead and start. Hopper, what you
Go
got?
for it, brother.
All
You
right.
can go 5-1. Well, you only got
Let me
one.
just
so.
let me just say this. Let me just say that I have Xander becoming a champion in 3 to 4 years.
Okay, I said 2 years.
Oh.
So you
All
said
right.
2.
I
so
said 2.
Xander didn't make this list. I'm sorry, Xander. I love you.
We want people to know that there are
Here.
people out there.
And I
the
tried,
minimum,
Manny.
but they are.
Manny.
They are. I get it. I get it.
Manny Gringo, I tried really hard to see who I could probably looked at the rankings, went up and down, went through everybody. I was like, who can become a champion? I had to find a loophole. Hear me out.
Okay, bring
This
it.
is the one
Ready,
guy.
ready.
The one guy I think is the closest to winning a championship. Edgar Berlanga.
Ah! Within 2 years?
I know. Iro, shocker. Hear me out, though. Hear me out. No, it's not a troll.
We
It's
have
not
Okay,
a
it's not
troll.
a troll? Okay.
You asked me which Puerto Rican of Puerto Rican descent is closest to winning a title.
Right?
Just like in many aspects of life, it's not what you know, it's who you know. Berlanga has the muscle of Top Rank behind him. It's a promotional machine and promotional powerhouse with the partnership of ESPN. Here's what's going to happen. He's going to keep moving up the rankings regardless of how he looks and regardless of who he fights. He's at
He's
number
undefeated.
5 already.
Mm-hmm.
All right, with the WBO, and he's number 8 with the WBA, and that's the key right there. The WBA. They're gonna have him fight for some silly WBA. We always like to say WBA
Reggie?
aluminum belt,
A Reggie?
a WBA wood belt, and call him a champion.
Woodshop belt.
And I'm telling you, this is exactly what's gonna happen. You didn't say who's gonna become a champion based off skill, merit.
No, I said the next
The
champion.
next, you have to. In my
Good
rankings,
loophole.
I found the loophole. Well, who's he connected to? Oh, he's connected to Top Rank. Top Rank's connected to ESPN. They can influence these boxing organizations. Hey, you know what? I want to give that guy a belt. So
Well,
I
yeah,
think-
you know what? All jokes aside, he's already the NABF, and I don't even remember when he
Well,
got
that's
that belt.
no, he did.
I think-
He did. He
they
did.
gave it to
That puts him top 5.
Yeah,
and
so-
that, but it's on the WBO.
and that's what I'm
so
telling
it's
you,
not on the WBA. So that's
because
a difference.
I don't know how much, in terms of fan popularity he's taken hit wise because of his last fight and biting and stuff like that. But
That's
Edgar
a year off, almost a year off.
Edgar Berlanga is about So I got 6 months. 6 months for him. I'm a year and 6 months for him to become a champion. I think it's the closest guy. Xander will definitely be a champion. He's going to be a champion for a long time. He's going to be multiple.
So I'm going to put you on the
world
spot
champion.
right now.
Go ahead.
I'm gonna put you on the spot because I love me some Berlanga. I get it. He's not he's not going to be the people's champion, but he eventually will capture a belt. But who is the current Reggie champion right now?
David Morrell. Come
he
on now.
is called. He's to be called one of the beasts.
He's not gonna. They're not gonna feed him to David Morrell.
That makes sense. So that's why I do not agree with
Canelo
you.
is the other
David Morrell is ready for a world title, even with only a few fights. Right? It's a different league right now. This is a complete boxer. Berlanga, it's far away from halfway to be complete.
Yeah.
I admit it. I get it, guys. I get it. So, but that's a good one. I love it.
Yeah.
Do you have anyone else?
Nope. Just Xander and
Short and
Berlanga.
sweet.
Wow, this is a very short one.
and
Disappointing for
sweet.
my friends because there are good ones out there. We interviewed some of them in our show, but I want to hear what Gringo had to say. Gringo. So we are trying to look and see who can be the next Puerto Rican world champion, not the people's champion. Nothing in terms of like.
And will they beat the current champion?
and beating the current champion? All right.
That's where
And
I
I ask
struggle
you
with.
guys to name me 5 Puerto Ricans that has the potential to at least not all of them, at least one of them, rank them to be a world champion.
You might as well have asked us to find a needle in the haystack.
Find a needle in the haystack. Sean, did you find it?
Did
Tell
you
me.
find some?
Man, all right. So, man, it was a challenge. And again, it's not because of talent, it's because of situations and the era we're in. It's not like, even though Mayweather talks about it like, it's more watered down, it's actually really not. There's only a few guys that have all the belts. That's just the beauty of being undisputed. So I'm not talking about Reggie's either. The actual super belts, the actual ones that matter to us, the fans. All right, so this is going to be kind of a stretch, but Stretch Armstrong is kind of what I do. Number 5, Brian the Hunter Polacco at 154. And there's a lot. Like, I got to explain my answer too. So he hasn't had a lot of fights.
Jamel.
Before the 2 years?
He's beating
He's 2
Zoo.
years, like right at the 2 years.
He's
so
beating
he's only
Sebastian
had
Fundora.
about 8 fights. My hope is, Fundora is like threatening to go down, which is crazy as hell.
47, crazy.
Yeah.
He's a welterweight now.
All right, he's like
7 foot welterweight.
I like it.
I
And
mean,
he'll love
if he
it too.
does, I mean, oh my God.
Damn.
But
Boom.
Brian Polacco at 154, right at the 2-year mark, I could see him becoming
Once
a
the belts go
champion
vacant.
because of vacancy, right?
Okay.
No, because here's the thing. He's a hell of a fighter. He's got a lot of great skills. He's huge. He can grow into his body. And it may not actually be at 154, but because he's so young, I could see him being a guy in 2 years. And that's the thing about boxing, because he's real active and his team is doing a good job of him, staying busy. You think about it, like these young guys, they fight 3, 4. I mean, hell, Xander fought 7 times in a year.
Yeah, I know.
So they can rack the wins up.
Well,
and next thing
he
you
hasn't
know,
fought
they
in a
move up in
while,
the
so I'm
rankings.
concerned of his activity. So might not bring him on the show and see what's up, because it's been a while he hasn't fought. So I'm kind of curious.
Yeah,
about
so
that. But that's a good one.
2-year
I like it.
plan. I know it's kind of a stretch, but that's where I'm at. Omar Rosario, he looked great his last time out. I like him at 130. And that's kind of the thing, because 130 is
He's
kind of that
beating
division
Shakur.
where no, 2 years,
Shakur will
brother.
go up.
Shakur will be
Shakur will
gone.
go up. Yeah.
Yeah.
2 years, Shakur's gonna be at 135. There's no doubt in my mind, man. There's more money at 135, way more. So I think that the money's gonna call him and he'll move out. Moving on, the Jeffersons to the east side of the division. This one is really a stretch because he actually lost to Robeisy Ramirez, who had one of my favorite tweets. He was talking about how, he's gonna not just win and impress people. I know this is about Puerto Rican boxing, but Robeisy Ramirez was talking about how he's gonna make people change their perspective and
About
think that
Cuban
all Cuban boxing is boring. That's exciting. He definitely showed that against our boy Supernova. Unfortunately, shout out to Nova. Orlando Capu Gonzalez at 126. He looked phenomenal his last fight, and I think that he showed the dog. And that's the thing. There's levels to this. Not everybody's Robeisy Ramirez, And actually, once, the top guys kind of filter out of 126 and have things shift, and, Kapu's young, he could stay at 126 for a while. I think that he could possibly win a belt, So I'm counting on vacancy and him being able to continue to make the weight and continue to improve. Because again, I was extremely impressed. In fact, I'll say I was the most impressed with him on that Belonga card in New York. So shout out to him. This one's a stretch as well because and we got so much love for him, but I really don't feel comfortable about him in this division. But it's kind of the same argument I have for Brian Polacco. And I think that he also has a machine behind him as far as top rank. I do think in 2 years, Xander will be a champion.
In 2 years?
Well, here's the thing. The reason they moved up from 147, they said he's campaigning. So they're moving up his competition. They were supposed to have a pretty tough fight this last weekend that he missed when he was sick.
Mm-hmm.
So I think based off the trajectory and the machine behind him, remember, that was kind of the argument you had, right, Hop?
Yep.
As far as the machine behind him. And I think it's unique because it's substance behind him. He's
actually good.
He's actually good.
Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. He's actually good. So think
he's actually pretty
freaking
good.
And you actually are good. So I think that it's very realistic that he could actually do it. Is this the right division for him? I'm not sure. He's a big kid though. And I
He'll
have
probably start at 154 because we thought 147 until he shocked everyone that wanted to move 154.
Yeah, he said he didn't want to
could make the weight though. He didn't have problems make the weight. It's just he felt like all of a sudden he didn't want to struggle and let me just take the lead and move up to 154, which by the way, it did just suit him well.
Yeah, and he said he'll be a lot stronger there.
Exactly.
So if he's campaigning now, they're moving up. He's looking continually impressive. He's got a lot of talent. And one thing I've always been impressed with, and Top Rank is not scared to put their guys in tough situations to see who they really have. Look at Carlos Caballo.
See Supernova.
Hey, we've been giving a hard time to Carlos Caballo and his chin or lack thereof.
Yeah,
yeah. They matched that brother up hard twice.
Oh, they did twice.
Oh my goodness.
Sultan and
yeah.
Even what's his name? Fravian too. When they against Brian Lua, both undefeated. 7 fights each of them, and then they came back and they made him fight Monte. The guy from Dallas, which he displayed a great performance. After that devastating loss, that a loss that just doesn't define your career. It's just you go back and grind and be better.
No, great call out, brother. So my last one. I've kind of said in the past that if he went against a real boxer, he'd probably be destroyed, and they'd probably he doesn't have his defense is his face. He's just extremely not the most versatile fighter, but he's a fighter, and he's offensively extremely gifted. And I think with continued development and growth, Subriel Matisse is he's the guy. He's my number one. I think without a doubt. First of all, he's ranked at 140 by the WBA and WBO. I know we've been giving
IBF. He's number 2 IBF.
IBF. Okay, so I think that
and the IBF
140 is kind of crazy, man. Like I really could see
him moving up.
Yeah, he's moving up, and he's moving up enough where people would have to fight him, and he's dangerous enough where he could put it like this. Then Josh Taylor just announced he's going to stay at 140.
Yep.
If they were announced that fight right now, hey man, there's no guarantee that Josh Taylor would beat him. I know that sounds crazy, but
Matias?
I think he could beat him, man.
He waxes him.
I mean, they're both going to be dirty fighters because Subriel's not going to allow that dirty shit. They're both going to be called several times, and some of them, and maybe both of them, will get a deduction because Subriel don't want to take shit from no one. You know what I mean? And we know how dirty has Josh Taylor gotten lately, like to the point that it's annoying.
And that was my point. I mean, trust me, I wouldn't put money on it. I'm just saying, like,
no, but you're right. You got. I think you got it right.
Based off this argument, he has the most realistic pathway. Where at 140, things could potentially open up, and if he gets the call, which he keeps moving up in the ranks, and that's what this is about. Especially in 2 years, at some point, somebody's going to call his name. And if he's going to answer or not, could he get destroyed? Absolutely. But at the same time, if anybody's defines the term puncher's chance, it's this brother.
Yeah. You know what? I'm just gonna be that, I'm gonna keep you guys honest.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna reel it in, reel the excitement back in. He's already lost, right?
Yeah.
But he avenged it.
But he
and killed
avenged
the
it.
guy.
He didn't have to do it.
Whoa, knock on
He
wood.
didn't
sorry,
have to
go on.
do it.
Well,
He had some balls to go back
Yeah,
against a very dangerous
came
guy
back.
and just completely, outbox him.
He dominated the
let's
guy.
see him.
I get it.
Let's
I
see
get it.
him
I'll tell
against
you
a
the
little
next fight.
stiffer competition.
I get you on that. He's gonna have a tough fight. His next fight.
What's his next fight?
I'll talk when I get my turn. Hueva!
All right,
Wow,
so that was my
Suriel.
list, and yeah, that was
That was not bad. I mean, I do agree. I think some of these guys you talked about, they're going to be big names, big players in some of these divisions that are probably the top champions right now are going to move out. So I can see even a Moncho Lebron,
Jeremiah Sponce?
even a Moncho Lebron probably waiting and see how Navarrete moves out, or Gary Russell. It's too old enough that he's you know what I mean. So yeah, I can see some of these guys coming in, but. Then that's the reason, guys. I did also struggle. It's not that we don't have people. Is right now some of these divisions are stacked with not only champions but contenders that are waiting in line, and it's like damn. But the positive about this is some of these organizations you might be sanctioned by one of them, and you could be ranked in the other one, but that doesn't mean
Not
that you're gonna
ranked in
fight
the
with
other
them.
one, yeah.
You're gonna fight with them. Like my number 5 right now, and I feel like he's got. A legitimate chance to at least contend at one point. Is he going to beat the champion? I didn't say he's going to beat. He's going to contend and possibly be a champion. He could, right? And that would be Danielito Zorrilla. I have to give it out to them. No one really thought that he was going to be at the point he is right now.
Yeah.
When you think about Pablo Cesar Cano, people thought that he wasn't going to beat him. Cesar Cano, yeah, he's a little bit older, more experienced, but the way he actually put him out, that actually told me something. I know he had struggle in his previous fight against Maslivet. They kind of got a little bit crazy. He was winning the fight throughout, and accidental headbutt or something happened that they stopped the fight. Yes, Maslivet had the most of the momentum, but he still is a boxer that can bring it within the championship rounds. So for me, Danielito, Miguel Cotto, these are some of his prospects that he believes in, and I think that most likely he could have an opportunity. Like for instance, maybe not a mandatory, but the champion may fight someone as a tune-up or anything like that, and that could be a surprise. And I think that may happen within a couple of years. But keep in mind, in that same division, you got Jose Carlos Ramirez. In that same division, you got to fight Pogreis. In that same division, you got to fight Sean Cepeda. So I mean, it is a tough one. But I believe that if there's one out there that we want to nip and pick, we want to give it up to his undefeated status as well. Hey, Danielito Zorrilla. Number four, I think at the 126, because of the circumstances right now, in terms of like some of these champions don't want to fight each other. Navarrete might get out of the 126. Who's there left? Masayo's fighting now. We don't know what's going to happen. And I think he's got a legitimate chance to kind of fight for that. And that's Brian Chari Chevalier. I mean, the number 126-pound, 126-pound in Puerto Rico. Come on, guys. We had him here on the show, and he said it all along. Pitufo Diaz, great boxer, great guy, but you know what? He lost to Navarrete. He lost against Isaac Dogby. So I think his chances now to try to contend for a world title, I think it's going to be slim. I think a lot of he did great in his last fight, but I think Brian Chevalier has renewed his career. He's training in LA. He's back and forth. He's getting a lot of help, building himself, getting stronger. I think he's got a legitimate opportunity in the future, in the last 2 years, I would say, to probably contend and become a world champion. Number 3, I moved him up from number 1, of course, because he was supposed to fight this weekend, and we know for a fact that he actually took a really good punch towards, El Rey Martinez, and he put him down. He knocked him down. The problem is he didn't know how to finish it. And with all the problems El Rey was having, he then moved up to try to get another belt. Then he got beaten again. Then he comes down and defended, and now he's sick again. I have no clue whatsoever. So I brought him down from 1 to number 3, but I still think right now whether he gets Martinez again or they make him vacate the belt, he could be in line because he is the interino WBC, so he's next in line to probably contend for that championship if it's actually vacant. I don't think they'll email him and they'll take it away from Martinez, but who knows? I'd rather him really earn it in the ring. Number 2 and number 3, that was Mike Williams Arroyo. Number 2, I totally agree with you, Gringo, man. You know, Suriel Matias. Suriel Matias, he's 30 years old. He's not, he's getting up in age. He is ranked number 2
By the
with
IBF?
by the IBF, and according to
gonna
the
fight.
IBF, they were trying to really. They gave him, I think, 60 days to negotiate a fight for the number 1, for the number 1 spot against Jeremias Ponce.
No, they're fighting for the interim title.
For the
now.
interim,
Yeah.
so they're fighting for the interim title right now.
Logistically, I mean, to answer your question,
So-
that's the guy that's
He
kind
is
of
he
the
is kind of
closest.
the guy that I have him number 2 because I feel he's closer to be in that position, but also he could lose against Jeremias Ponce as well. And not only that, he could win and be the interim title, but he's gonna have to wait for a while for Josh Taylor to fight any other guys that will probably make sense for him, for Josh Taylor, money wise. So he's gonna have to stay in the driver's seat until he probably gets called out, or Josh Taylor moves away, goes to 147, and then vacate those titles. Then that probably will be his opportunity to immediately get a chance to get into the title.
No, definitely, and that's a great point there. And a lot of it seems like what we were doing is kind of like the matchmakers. You're factoring in the
Right.
movement of others, positioning what division works best.
And when you
And-
think about it, a lot of people, I talk to people about this, and they say, but Manny, there's a lot of people that he needs to fight there to prove himself. No, he doesn't. He is ahead of Regis Prograis. He is ahead of Jack Catterall. He is ahead of Teofimo right now. He can't be looking down. All you want to do as a boxer, I don't care when they came in or if I actually moved up faster than they did, they're going to have to wait for me. He doesn't need to fight any of these guys at the IBF if you're number 2. You need to fight number 1 to finally become, the number 1 mandatory challenger. So that's why I think he's got a very, very good opportunity to become a world champion.
as far as pathway,
that's
absolutely.
crazy how
Absolutely.
he got there. But I mean,
It is.
he's there.
But he avenged that loss, and of course, if you guys know, he was the one. He was the boxer that he's well known about. An incident that happened inside the ring, very devastating with Maxim Dadashev. May he rest in peace. But that just to surpass that and then go back to a defeat. He went to Petros, and then he comes back and fights a couple more times, and then avenges that defeat. That's courage. And right now, he is getting a lot of respect from the Puerto Ricans. Trust me, I've seen him in social medias. I see how he reacts with people, and they like him. He's very likable, and I think he's going to be one of the ones. But not like number 1, man. I am super huge on this kid. I got to tell you, I think the stars are aligning everything toward his advantage. In just 4 fights, he's became the fastest Puerto Rican boxer to capture a Latino minimum flyweight championship. He, during his 7-year amateur career, won 5 national amateur boxing titles. He came in bronze medal in the 2017 Pan American Olympics championship, and then he won the gold medal in 2019. He got picked up by Miguel Cotto Promotions and I think someone else. I forgot where else, but he will be fighting a former champion, and this is what I love about this, guys. If you want to prove yourself and continue to move up, the way you do that and you get that opportunity is by fighting someone that has been there. Oscar Pupilo Collazo. He will be fighting Big Vicious Saludar, Filipino professional boxer who held the WBO mini flyweight title from 2018-2019, and then the WBA at 2021, which, by the way, that's the one that he lost against Puerto Rican Wilfredo Bimbito Mendez. If he beats Vic Vicious Saludar, he most likely going to have the opportunity to become a world champion, most likely next year. And he has the pedigree. They call them the mini Cotto. He's got some power, same movements. He works the ring around, jabs well, great combinations. And what a great fight to finally get the mini Pacquiao, which is the Filipino Tamanoon Niam Trong, to get him some contention. They call him the little Pacquiao against the mini Cotto for the marbles at the 105 pounds for the WBA.
You talking about Oscar Colazo?
No, Oscar Pupilo Collazo.
El Pupilo.
That is correct. He, for me, he most likely will be a champion if that fight happens, because that's go for the mandatory.
He's
and hear me out. Eric Rosa is the other guy that actually has the belt in there that has the regular champion right now. But he's going to be fighting Carlos Ortega. Either or, if Eric Rosa beats Carlos Ortega, maybe Pupilo Collazo could go for that Reggie one. But I think right now, the biggest fight that people want to see is that Thailand guy, Tamanoon Niyam, which he doesn't seem to fight very often, but he is a devastating knockout artist. And last fight was December 2021. So that's the fight that I like to see. I know lower classes weights, but they're very entertaining. And ever since he came out from the Pan American Olympics, he's been working on his craft and he's been gaining popularity. For me, he will be the first Puerto Rican to be crowned within the next 2 years. Just
now, Manny, I'm not one to disagree with you. Well, or maybe I am.
Oh, go ahead.
But
You're the right person.
Oscar Pupilo Colazo.
Yep.
If we're talking about the same guy,
Yep.
he's 4-0.
Correct.
And he's going to be a champion in 2 years?
Yeah. He's the first Puerto Rican to capture some title, the WBA Latino.
Man, I don't know. I think that's a stretch there, man.
And you're fighting in your fifth fight against Vic Saludar. Do you see what I'm saying? It's the same thing as Loma.
I get you, but
He is almost as talented when Loma actually came out. Had a stellar career when it comes to his amateur. All right? And he's coming in, jumping on real quickly. That's what I thought at the beginning.
yeah.
But when he beat, what was his name? Pedro Villegas from Ecuador. And Pedro Villegas was undefeated guy at that time. Very good, great potential. He worked a lot to get where he's at, and he beat him just like that. In the fourth fight, I mean, you got to believe the hype. And so I can't wait to see this big Saludar fight because that's really going to tell us a lot. And a lot of people are going to start knowing El Pupilo Collazo right after that fight. And I'm hoping that fight happens because other than that, I mean, who else is going to be able to?
I think comparing him to Vasily is a stretch because Vasily, if I remember correctly, he fought for a world title his second fight against City Salido.
Yeah, but
right,
no, he was quick. But what I'm saying is
your boy here.
He's not going to be as quick. He did it 4. He's going to do it in probably 7 fights, man. I mean, I would say this is his 5th fight and probably 6th fight. In the 6th fight, he's probably going to do it.
All right. Just, just playing a little advocate.
That's
here.
my top 5, and you better believe it because I am bullish on my number 1. Oscar Pupilo Collazo, papi.
Confident. Say it.
Love you, papi.
Say it
we'll
with your chest.
Show soon. You know that.
Hey.
Absolutely.
Get the love from this Mexican and that gringo over there.
it's gonna be interesting to see how this plays out. I mean, it's a 2-year roadmap.
Yep.
We'll see how right or wrong we are. Man, it's interesting. I know for myself, because we've we talked to a lot of these guys, and I'm definitely pulling for them. Literally, we've interviewed everybody except for one person on my list. So I'm really hoping for him. And then for Manny's sake, I mean, I know that he wants to champion really bad, and somebody's gonna break
63,
through.
man. We need that one.
It's gonna happen, man. And
I thought it was gonna happen this weekend, bro.
Somebody got sick. No come frijoles.
Pero ¿qué le pasa al compi tuyo? O sea, no sé.
Yeah, just real quick. I know this is the Puerto Rican show, but just real quick, Hopper, where do you stand on El Rey at this point?
Doesn't need his beans, man. Doesn't need his frijoles. Dude's always hurt. I don't know what it is, man. He needs to change his training habits.
And what's crazy is he gets credit for me as being the greatest replacement fight of all time, even though he got one-sided by our boy Ramon Chocolatito Gonzalez. But when that was announced, I was like, wow, he stepped in really quick. Yet still, he's had trouble fighting McWilliams. Like, this is the 3rd time.
I don't know what it is.
What the hell?
COVID.
I don't know what it is.
COVID, then accidental headbutt, and then now he gets sick. I mean, poor McWilliams. I mean, he looked great in shape too, but I don't know, man. I am like you are and like Hopper. I'm very disappointed because I thought El Rey would really perform well, and I thought he was going to do a much better performance against Chocolatito.
Yeah,
we talked about it. Remember?
Well, yeah, that's a whole nother conversation. But I thought he was going to be able to bounce back. It made the card even more exciting. And I know people are kind of giving him crack, but the Zone has done a great job of promoting and giving a platform to these lower divisions and to the female fighters. I know in our last show, 111, we were talking about the unisex top 10, but it's not because of lack of respect or an appreciation of the female fighters. It's more of a, for me, just I'm not really sure what you're trying to accomplish. It kind of defeats the purpose of a pound for pound. It's kind of discrediting both sides. Just appreciate everyone and everything for what it is, and not try to necessarily combine it and force feed an agenda, if you will. I'm not sure. But anyway, what I am sure of is a great show. Manny, last words on number 112, brother.
Oye, I appreciate you guys' support, man. Thank you so much. Hey, listen, talk to someone about us. Just share our content. We work really hard to at least, try to catch up with some of the things that are happening out there when it comes to boxing. These are just three locos, amigo. We ain't perfect. We may not have the right sources, and we're not the breaking news guys, but what we sure are always passionate about a sport that's being heard, and actually it's coming back little by little, whether you like the organizations or not, whether you like the politics or you hate them politics, where you like whatever it is, the promotions, how the, protecting their fighters, not fighting, or thinking they own the world and then they don't perform well. Hint, hint. You all got it. But you know what? At the end of the day, it's a sport that we still love. We have passion, and we've been treated for the last 3 months, weekend over weekend, with some amazing boxing. Thank you guys for your support. Anywhere you listen to your favorite podcast, we're there.
That's right.
Episode 112. Anyone got anything else to say?
Thank you so much for the support. Much love. Shout out to everybody that's been listening. Love us, hate us, debate us. We ain't going nowhere in the house. EnVivo podcast. Faux live.
Let's go, Bam Bam.
EnVivo.
Ay.
Adios.
Later.